Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
TaxAct's filing software and live tax experts can help small businesses easily knock out their taxes. Actually, our experts can help you find deductions and credits for any sized business. Itty-bitty businesses, medium-sized, really big, mid-sized, small businesses, companies with 0 employees, and mom-and-pop conglomerates. Yep, our tax experts can help all of them. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, everybody digging out, especially in the Northeast. The storm, of course, hitting so many people. 7 governors have declared states of emergency, the big winter blizzard, and almost 20 inches rather, in like Central Park. I mean, if you look at some of the numbers, it's extraordinary. Central Park that much. Providence did actually get almost 3 feet. That's an amazing record in Providence, Rhode Island. Also, if you look at some of the other locations, even JFK was really battered. Islip, New York, more than 29 inches. Newark, 27 inches. LaGuardia, more than 22 inches. JFK, almost 20. These are historic numbers and of historic proportions. It feels like 20 feet because there's like huge piles out there. Hopefully, though, this time it seems like the roadways are a lot better in at least Manhattan. But other parts of the tri-state area are not doing so well. I want to hear from a lot of you guys because we've heard from our friends in the Bronx, we've heard from Queens, we've heard from Brooklyn, we've heard from Staten Island, and we've heard from other parts, of course, New Jersey and Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Boston got socked. So all of these different locations are still enduring a lot of snow. So I'm curious what you have outside your locale. Is it cleaned up? It seems like the Manhattan streets certainly are. That's a good sign. But the bad news is, guys, earlier today, we talked with Jay Engel, and he is with the National Weather Service. And he said, guess what? We are not out of the woods yet. You think this was crazy? There's a little more coming. Not as bad as what we got this weekend, but it ain't over yet.
I mean, well, everything's relative. So after this, I'm sure we can handle some minor events here. And that's what we're probably looking at Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. A quick-moving frontal system. Temperatures are going to be marginal, so it looks like this could be a quick hit of snow and then probably ending as a little bit of rain, especially closer to the coast. Further north, it could be all snow. We're looking at most an inch or two, we think, across especially northern areas. Could be less than that, closer to the coast, but could be enough to coat the ground momentarily in a lot of spots that just got buried with the most snow, so it could be more of a nuisance. It's some slick conditions possible for Wednesday morning. And then, which will be the first commute for many since this storm happened. And then we have another quick system Thursday into Thursday night. Again, temperatures are marginal. That looks more of like a sloppy mess. Could be more rain. We'll have to see about that. But these next couple of systems are quick moving. They're more minor in nature, probably more of a nuisance than anything else.
We'll take it because the last ones have been a lot more than just a nuisance. So what are you guys seeing outside your own windows? And also so many flights canceled, up to 10,000 flights canceled, many delays. And again, many people looking like they are going to be socked in for quite some time. But there's been a lot of great things to watch on TV, that is for sure. And one of them is certainly the Olympics. I don't know if you guys have been watching. I've been glued. And to see those folks, especially the hockey teams, I mean, the figure skating, the skiers, there's been so many of them. I mean, it's just been very cool. But the fact that the women hockey team first win the gold, and then the men's hockey team wins the gold. That was huge. Of course, coming back to the Miracle on Ice in the 1980s. It's been 46 years. And what an amazing, amazing way to win. How many of you guys saw that magical moment when Jack Hughes, the boy from the New Jersey Devils, put in that goal, and it was in overtime, and it made history. And one of my favorite parts about the Olympics and Jack Hughes is after he won, he went on and on and on about how great America is. That's the whole meaning of the Olympics, is us all coming together, us uniting as one, us being one America. And that's why I think I'm just so offended that so many Democrats are coming out and saying they're not going to want to be a part of the State of Union address tomorrow night. I find that really reprehensible and disgraceful. I don't like when they interrupt. I don't like when they shout. I don't like when they do any of those things. I didn't like when Nancy Pelosi ripped up the State of the Union. Remember when she did that a couple of years ago? I didn't like that. But I definitely don't like the fact that they're not even going. They don't even think they need to go because they don't like what he's saying. I'm sorry, he's the president of the United States. Whether you like what he has to say or not, he is the president of our country, and you should be there, whether he's your party or not. If you don't like what he says, well, don't clap. Just sit there and listen to him. Don't boo. Don't do these other things. Don't do these stupid theatrics with the little paddles like they did last year. I found it so reprehensible when little DJ Daniel, remember the guy who was getting deputized by so many different law enforcement departments, and he had brain cancer. This is like a real hero, this beautiful young boy, this teenager. And they wouldn't even clap for him. They wouldn't clap for Angel Moms. They wouldn't clap for anything. To me, it was really horrible and really so blatantly, horribly political by the Democrats. But I'm happy to say that Jack Hughes isn't afraid to say how much he loves America and loves this country. And he reminded us of why the Olympics are so great. Here he is. My favorite part, after, earlier in the game, he loses a few teeth on the ice. I mean, you see him, he needs a new dentist when he gets back home. But teeth missing and all, he still kept fighting. That's the American spirit. And then he gets the big goal. This is the best of America. And there's no politics around the Olympics. It's the American spirit. And this guy, Jack Hughes, and his brother, Quinn, who also scored a big goal early on, too, in the semifinals. Well, they are real American heroes. Take a listen.
And we're the gold medalists, so I'm so happy that USA Hockey's on top.
You not only have that as a reminder, you got that as a reminder, too. Did that just show about this game?
I'm lucky I'm from the best country in the world, and we got great dentists there too, so I'm lucky I'm American, and they're going to fix me right up.
Standing there listening to the anthem, what's going through your head?
Just so proud. I'm so proud to be American. I'm so proud of this group. I'm so happy that we could win. We have so many people here supporting us. We have so many people back home supporting us, and we're so thrilled with how this whole tournament played out, and just an unbelievable moment for you.
It was an unbelievable, incredibly inspiring moment, and a reminder of America's exceptionalism, America greatness, all the things that we should all be proud of, which is why everybody should be excited to get an invitation to the State of the Union. And President Trump extended it to the U.S. men's hockey team right after they won the Olympic gold.
1 minute. 1 minute. And by the way, your goalie played not bad.
How are you? Say hi. How are you? Say hi to him.
How you doing, Don? I have seen hockey goalies have slightly worse games than this. Unbelievable, and you were all unbelievable. And that team is pretty good you played. I don't know if we're going to begin anytime soon, right? And, I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night, it's the biggest.
We're in.
Speech.
Can you pick us up in Miami on Tuesday morning?
Yeah, Tuesday morning.
Close the northern border. We'll get cash and we'll get the military to get you guys over.
I'm going to
Let's go.
Boys are going to the State of the Union.
The nice thing about being president is I can tell you, you don't have to worry about the weather or landing. So we don't care if it's snowing, if it's the worst blizzard, we'll be sailing through that sucker just like you did on the ice track.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now we'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that.
Absolutely.
I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay? But anyway, if you could work that out, I would be honored to have you all introduce you to the whole...
I got it, boss. I got it.
Okay, you got it, Cash.
I'm on it.
Cash is doing it. I'm happy.
I'm
Congratulations. That was an unbelievable game. I don't know if one person that wasn't, everybody that called me said I'm watching the hockey game. I don't know of anybody that wasn't. And you're going to be proud of that game for 50 years as you grow older. I mean, it was amazing. So we love you guys. Congratulations. And I hope to see you, Cash, Tuesday night. And I want to shake hands. I'm going to shake hands with everybody, but I got to shake hands with that goalie.
Tuesday night. We'll see you Tuesday night, Mr. President.
See you Tuesday night.
I'm driving the bus, boss. We're bringing the whole bus.
Beautiful. I mean, what a great moment. The president calls, Cash Patella's there, and they are thanking true American heroes and amazing athletes. And I agree with him. That goalie was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, they're so excited. They're like, whoa, we're invited to the State of the Union. Whoa, he's going to send a military plane. Whoa, we're going to the White House. And then let's juxtapose that with Adam Schiff, who says he never missed a State of the Union, but he's missing this one. Listen to Adam Schiff.
Donald Trump is violating the law and Constitution. He is ignoring court orders. He has weaponized the Justice Department to go after his enemies. He is letting loose ICE troops in our streets that are getting people killed. I will not be attending the State of the Union. I've never missed one. I have always gone both to inaugurations and to States of the Union, but we cannot treat this as normal. This is not business as usual. I will not give him the audience he craves for the lies that he tells. I'll be outside the Capitol with Midas touch and move on for the people's State of the Union, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday.
That is so shameful. That is so pathetic. And to me, that infuriates me. Because even if you don't like the president, you need to respect the presidency. And that to me is absolutely pathetic that Adam Schiff would sit there and say, this, I'm not going to listen to his lies. I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. He's the president of the United States. And to boycott it is really just, to me, a whole new low, creating this sort of separate event outside to tell the real story of America. You can't even listen to the president of the United States for a little over an hour. That to me is a whole new pathetic political low. And I think we are really on a troubling path. What a contrast. I think Adam Schiff needs to look at the camaraderie and the appreciation of America that we saw in the women's hockey team and especially in the men's hockey team, because all they kept saying is how proud they were to be Americans. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And we'll take your calls when we come back here on The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care. Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's go to your calls, guys, on this snowy Monday in much of the country. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Sandra in New Jersey on line 1. Go ahead, Sandra.
Oh, Rita, I'm so heated up. First, I wanted to say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's why here's where I don't think I want to agree with you on the State of the Union. Look, that State of the Union is for we the people. I want to listen to that beautiful speech and not listen to the taint in the air from their poisonous venom. I want to sit back, listen to that speech, and enjoy it. So if these Democrats have an alternative plan, Rita, I'd rather they not be there. I'd rather those seats be filled with people that love our country, that love Donald Trump, and that will not distract me when I want to listen to that speech. That's really how I feel. I want John Fetterman there. He shows what it's like to be decent, and he shows decorum, and he shows civility. Those are the kind of people I want there. If they're not going to behave and disrupt this beautiful speech that this man is going to make, I don't even want them there anymore, Rita, because the same thing will happen again and again. You'll get the people with their outfits. You'll get people booing. Who needs that? I want to hear the speech beautifully and peacefully. That's how I feel, Rita.
You know, it's interesting. I want to play this clip because you reminded me. This is cut number 7. This is Al Green, because who could forget his cane wagging last year? And thank goodness he got kicked out. Listen to this, Sandra.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
You know what,
Terrible.
Sandra, it was so bad. I remember when that happened. Yeah. And I don't like it when anybody does it and does the liar or the screaming or any of that. But your point's a good one, that it shouldn't be disrupted. I actually, when that whole thing happened with Al Green, I thought it was great that he got kicked out. I don't think anybody should be disruptive. And I think they should be required to go there because guess what? He is the president of the United States. There's been a long-held belief that you go attend the State of the Union. And for some reason this year, more than ever, all of these folks seem to be wanting to boycott it, plan this other event. To me, it feels un-American. I really do feel that way because no matter who's the president, whether it's a Barack Obama or a Donald Trump or anybody else, you should go pay respect for the office. And to me, it's an insult to the office. And the office of the presidency transcends parties. It transcends these political squabbling. And I think it's a bunch of petty kids for these Democrats to say, no, they're not going to go. They're above it. They're beneath it. They're way beneath it for doing this, Sandra.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Rita Cosby is on. The Rita Cosby Show presents Back the Blue.
And this Back the Blue segment coming from Cleveland, Ohio, where 2 officers are being recognized for their immediate response to a very dangerous situation after a woman in crisis ventured onto a sheet of ice covering Lake Erie. Now, the officers were asked about the rescue, and it's not just that they saved her, it's how. The officers ran after the woman who walked onto the ice at Perkins Beach in Cleveland. Now, one of the officers said pretty much as soon as we attempted to make contact with her, she decided to run further out onto the ice. They said they quickly assessed the ice, but knew that they needed to reach the woman. They also knew that they needed to approach her with compassion. So they said, we really don't know what you're experiencing. We need to help you. Both of the officers clearly calmed the situation down. Instincts took over and the training took over as well. It was important, they said, to be patient with her as long as the situation calls for it. Luckily, they were able to get her and able to bring her back to safety. She was taken to a hospital for evaluation and at least is thankful to be alive, thanks to the great help from the men and women in blue. Well, we are talking, of course, about the State of the Union address tomorrow night. I'm sure President Trump will definitely be heralding the men and women in blue. He always honors law enforcement. He's also going to be honoring the men's hockey team, it looks like, will be there. At least most or some of them will be there for tomorrow night's State of the Union. They're also supposed to be honored at the White House on Wednesday. It's interesting. The female hockey team got an invitation, but they said that due to prior commitments, previously scheduled academic and professional commitments following the games, the athletes, these are the female hockey players who also won a gold, they were awesome too, that they are unable to participate. There's obviously a little more to that, and we'll get into that too as well. Meantime, Senator John Fetterman, Democrat from Pennsylvania, heard Sandra say that he's been sort of the lone voice of common sense in the Democratic Party. And this is what he had to say about some of the antics that the Democrats did last year. He said he was embarrassed, and he said he wishes there would not be a repeat performance.
And I do plan to go to the State of the Union. And then I do hope all the other Democrats that choose to come, that we don't do the same kinds of things that happened at the last year. It was really undignified. And just the thing, no, I don't care who the president is. Don't yell and disrupt that. It's like you really should respect the office. You don't have to like the occupant, but respect that. And that's, we should be better than that. So for me, as a Democrat, it's just calling balls and strikes. And I'm always going to pick country over party.
Bravo for Senator Fetterman. I mean, he really has been the guy with the common sense speaking out for what he thinks is right. He's actually been the best, most level-headed guy in that party. That is for sure. And his answer, respect the office. You may not like the occupant, but respect the office. And that is a good motto. But it seems like a lot of Democrats, there's a big list of them, and the list keeps growing. I mean, there's at least 12, 13, 14 of them so far that are saying they are not planning to attend the State of the Union. They're planning to do this alternate event that Joy Reid and others are doing on the National Mall there in Washington. That to me is terrible. And of course, you think about not only Al Green and him shaking the cane last year and getting kicked out. What about when Nancy Pelosi in 2020 ripped up the State of the Union? That to me was one of the most, I thought, distasteful, unpatriotic moves, to stand there right behind President Trump and rip up his State of the Union address. That was so undignified. And earlier today on Katz and Cosby, we talked to the former Speaker, Kevin McCarthy. This is what he had to say about his experiences.
It really is. And look at the difference in the example, okay? When I was Speaker, Joe Biden was president. Kamala Harris was vice president. I sat there. I didn't tear the speech up. I listened where I disagreed. I was not disrespectful. I mean, I respect whoever holds that office. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you have a responsibility that you're representing almost 1 million people in Congress. You need to participate. You need to be there. You need to be a voice for them. And for them not even to show up, what does that tell the rest of the world about our Congress?
That's a great point. Like, what is the message that it sends to the world that we're not cohesive as a country? That we don't respect the office of the presidency? I mean, that is so pathetic. They've already trashed ICE left and right. Now they're trashing President Trump to the point where they wouldn't even attend a State of the Union address. Here is Senator Jeff Merkley, Democrat of Oregon, who is on MS Now, and he says he's not going to go. So take a listen.
Why did you decide to skip this year's address, and what message are you hoping to deliver to the American people?
Well, I decided to join the People's State of the Union because people need to hear the absolute truth about what's happening in America. It's been a year in which the president has made us sicker and poorer. It's been a year of costs and chaos and corruption. On the cost side, everything's going up. Groceries, health care, housing, everything the tariffs affect. It's estimated by the Joint Economic Committee, it's like $1,700 per family. $1,700 per family. Well, that's maybe 1 second of earnings for Elon Musk and the billionaires, but it is like wiping out what a normal family might save in a year. And then you have really this chaos in which Trump is systematically undermining our democratic republic, the checks and balances of our Constitution to create a strongman state. Well, there's going to be no talk about any of these enormously important developments for families and for our democracy from the president of State of the Union. And so it's important that the American people hear from leaders in Congress saying this direction, this may be a billionaires win, families lose direction, but we need a families thrive, billionaires pay their fair share, The corruption has to end. The authoritarian takeover has to end. And the inflation has to end.
That's amazing. So costs, because he doesn't like cost of things, he's going to boycott the State of the Union, the chaos, the corruption. But he was fine with all of those investigations of President Trump under the Biden administration. I guess that was all above board in his mind. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Teddy in Yonkers on line 2. Teddy, your thoughts tonight?
Yes, Rita, it's been a while that I've spoken to you. I've waited a long time. Rita, I agree with the message, what you're saying. But it's very convenient on your part to, you mentioned it slightly. I remember the gentleman when Obama spoke and he blurted out, "You lied," okay? And no sergeant at arms, no one said anything. I remember Marjorie Taylor Greene when she was a big supporter of Trump, okay? When Obama was speaking, she blurted out many things.
And by the way, Teddy, you heard me. I didn't like when that happened. I'm a big believer that you don't have to, if he says something that you don't like, just don't clap. But to sit there, I didn't like the shouting when they did it, Teddy. I'm telling you, I don't like anybody disrupting the president to do something like that. It's not appropriate. So that's one. So hold on. But you tell me, what kind of a person sits there? Like last year, when Al Green did it, he stood up and he's shaking his cane and he was going on and on and on. That's what made it a lot different than when Joe Wilson did it. I didn't like when Joe Wilson did it either, by the way. I didn't. And I know Joe Wilson of South Carolina, but I didn't like when he shouted out. I just didn't think it was appropriate. But when Al Green did it, he continued to persist. They told him to sit down. He would not. He started wagging his cane and shouting, and it kept going on and on and on. So it was a little more prolonged. The other thing I did not like was when, how about they're honoring DJ Daniel? I mean, to me, that was a moment. President Trump last year, he, highlighted angel moms. He highlighted DJ Daniel, who had all the brain surgeries and wanted to be a deputy at all these different law enforcement departments. And then he got deputized by, what was it? I think it was the Secret Service or something. Remember, at the State of the Union, there were some beautiful moments there. They couldn't even clap for him, Teddy. And that's not a Republican Democrat. That's terrible.
Okay, I agree. But let me ask you this, because I want to make sure I get these comments in. What about the Supreme Court decision? And when they asked, the woman journalist asked him, are you going, or the Supreme Court justice is coming to the State of the Union? And he said, barely. And to be honest with you, I couldn't care less. And he was speaking about especially the ones who voted against him, his appointees. It seems like all of the people that he appoints have to kowtow and serve him.
Although they're not, but Teddy,
they're not serving him.
Teddy, obviously they're not, because it was a very split decision. It was a 6-3 decision against President Trump. So obviously, they didn't vote in his favor overwhelmingly. It went the other way.
And he's telling them they shouldn't come to the meeting.
I heard that, and I don't think that's the right decision for a president to say.
Strongly, like you condemn Schiff, and I don't care for Schiff politics either. But at least I condemn it in the strongest way. But you can't condemn.
I actually can condemn it. I actually don't think it's a good idea, and I think if anything, that decision shows that the Supreme Court seems to have their own mind. I mean, people like you seem to think, the Supreme Court's kowtailing to President Trump. Clearly, that decision clearly didn't show that, Teddy. So I mean, you come in with this Trump derangement syndrome, and for you to sit there and say that, okay, what did you think when Nancy Pelosi ripped up the State of the Union? That to me was reprehensible. It really was. It was how dare you rip up a State of the Union address? To me, there's something so important about the President of the United States, that moment. And again, I've heard, I think, every State of the Union address since I've been an adult. To me, whether I was in broadcasting or not, even in my early days, I'd always tune into the State of the Union address. I always wanted to know what was going on in this country. And it didn't matter to me if it was a Democrat or a Republican, whoever was doing it. It is such a disrespect. And it's this Trump derangement syndrome, Teddy. It's not really there's not really an equivalent. I didn't like it when some of these other, like you brought up the Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Joe Wilson. I didn't like that either, for sure. Just like I did not like Al Green doing it. And I'm glad they kicked him out. I think anybody who really disrupts the State of the Union and does it for, doesn't sit right down, that person should absolutely be removed, whether it's Republican or Democrat. But how dare you go into, I'm not talking you, I'm talking these individuals, go into there and you can't clap for DJ Daniel, or you have at that point the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, ripping up a State of the Union address of the President of the United States. He's addressing the world. And I think Kevin McCarthy brought up a great point there, Teddy. What do these other countries think when they see, they're planning an alternate event? How dare these people think they can plan an alternate to the presidency of the United States? To me, these people have polluted so many aspects of President Trump just because it's Trump. They wanted to impeach him before he was even sworn in the first time, Teddy. I covered that inauguration. I heard so many Democrats saying he should be impeached. I said he has not even in office yet. And they were already drafting articles of impeachment. I mean, come on, Teddy. It's pretty transparent what's going on here.
I guess Peggy Noonan has Trump derangement also. She is the best female journalist in America.
So did she say everybody should boycott the speech? Is that her point?
No, she didn't say that.
Of course she didn't, because she respects the presidency, and I know Peggy.
That's why she is why don't you invite her to you and the Cosby and Katz show?
I'd be delighted to.
Invite her?
By the way, Teddy, I would absolutely be delighted. I actually know Peggy, and she is a tremendous journalist. She's a tremendous speechwriter, by the way. Let's not forget that's how she started. And if anybody respects how important delivering a State of the Union address is, it's Peggy Noonan. So actually, that's a good suggestion, Teddy. I'll try to track her down because,
I wish you do. I'd love to hear her.
Yeah.
She's the best female journalist in America.
She is a great person too, Teddy. So I'll agree with you. You and I can agree on that aspect. That is for sure. And I'll try to track her down, Teddy, because I do like Peggy a lot, actually. Good point, Teddy. I don't agree with a lot of the other stuff, but I do agree with that. Teddy, thank you very much. Everybody will continue after the break. 1-800-848-9222.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, it's Sterling K. Brown from the Hulu original series Paradise. The next chapter begins as Xavier's search for his wife takes him above ground, and what he finds will change everything. It was never just about the bunker. Tune in and discover the truth lies outside. Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming, and stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
This is The Rita Cosby Show.
And what a disgrace that a number of Democrats are saying they are boycotting this year's State of the Union with this sort of alternate real State of the Union that they claim is going to take place outside. I think it's just horrible. I think it's un-American. And I think they should act like mature adults. They are representing constituents. They are part of America. And as much as they have Trump derangement syndrome, like Teddy, they should still be in there. And I'm glad Teddy agreed with me that he didn't like when Al Green was shaking his cane. At least I knew I made some headway with Teddy at that moment. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Liz in Florida on line 4. Go ahead, Liz.
Hi, Rita. So I have many licenses and certifications, and as a dental hygienist and an ice skate guard and instructor.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I have always told my patients who play sports, especially ice hockey, to wear mouth guards to protect their teeth. And it really concerned me, and I didn't know if there was I know there's always a doctor on the team. I didn't know if there was a dentist, but when I looked at his mouth, Jack Hughes, it concerned me because, it looked like it might have been infected, and he really needs to get it taken care of and have someone look at it.
Yeah, good point. But, what did you make? I mean, it's got to be a hard blow for someone to knock out a few of your teeth. I think there's a few of them that are missing, and it happened in play. I mean, talk about the force that it would take, Liz, to knock out a few teeth, and then he kept playing. I guess if you're at the Olympics, you're like, okay, I'll deal with the infection later.
No pain, no gain. And these guys, I mean, I would imagine the girls wore these mouth guards, and I don't know why he didn't, but some players don't want to. Listen, he played. He was amazing. The whole team was amazing. So, like he said, he's got great dentists in America, but I just hope he gets to go to see somebody sooner than later, to prevent infection.
Yeah, and maybe, who knows, maybe he's already gone because he did land today in Miami. And I'm not sure if they have a dentist. They definitely have a doctor on staff who probably knows at least some of the basic stuff. But he's in Florida, so maybe he could pay you a visit there, Liz, because he's in Florida too. I think they landed in Miami. They were supposed to land, I think, in Newark, and then they got rerouted with the weather. So he's down there, but then apparently they are going up to D.C. So we'll see. We'll see if he looks comfortable tomorrow night at the State of the Union. Liz, you're terrific. You wear so many hats. It's great. I love it. Let's go to Alice in Ohio on line 2. Go ahead, Alice.
Hi, Rita. I'd like to address Teddy. Rita Cosby is a lady, and she's a professional. And when he calls in, he should show respect and act like a gentleman.
Yeah, but you know what? You expect that. By the way, that is, the sad thing is, Alice, that's Teddy acting like a gentleman, because we've seen him in the gutter, and I've certainly called him out when he's done that, But he did admit that Al Green was over the top. I made a little bit of headway tonight.
And you very nicely and in a very ladylike way, you did call him out. You kept your cool, and as usual. But his behavior was what the Democrats are doing. We don't have statesmen. I've told you before, I'm 84 years old, and age is a gift. I remember when everyone attended, both sides attended, they listened patiently. They wanted to shake the president's hand as he was entering and shake his hands as they were leaving. Our society is so sad.
Yeah, you know what? You had a great point, because there were always a number of folks that would always be in the front row. And it didn't matter if it was a Republican president or Democratic president. They would always kind of extend their hands so they could say they talked to the president. Where are those days, Alice?
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and busts. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.